job. Not in 2 weeks, not after the perfect opportunity comes along. You need a job now. Maybe your emergency fund just hit zero. Maybe you're watching people less qualified than you get interviews while your applications just seem to disappear into the void. Maybe you're starting to panic because rent is due and you've sent out 50 resumes with zero responses. Look, I get it. And here's what kills me. You're probably doing everything right, according to every job search article you've read. And it's still not working. I'm Mary Southern, founder of Resume Assassin. And over the last decade, I've helped over 4,000 people land jobs at companies like Microsoft, Google, Tesla, and Netflix. I've seen your resume. I've seen thousands like it. And I'm going to tell you something that might sting a little bit. If you needed a job in 24 hours, most of what you're doing right now wouldn't help you. Because the traditional job search advice, it's designed for people who have time, and you don't. Here's what everyone tells you. Perfect your resume. Write custom cover letters. Research the company culture. Wait for the perfect fit. That's great advice when you have 3 months. But when you have 24 hours, you need to throw out the rule book and play a completely different game. Today, I'm walking you through the exact 7 strategies I would use if I woke up tomorrow and desperately needed a job by the end of the day. These aren't the things you'll read in LinkedIn articles. These are the uncomfortable, unconventional tactics that actually work when speed matters more than perfection. Some of these will feel weird. Some might feel beneath you. But if you need money coming in fast, your ego can't be part of this equation. Now, let's get you hired. Okay, first thing you need to understand. When you're desperate for a job in 24 hours, you're not looking for your dream job. You're looking for a yes. And here's the truth that nobody wants to admit. The fastest way to get a yes is to apply to jobs that you're overqualified for. Think about it like this. When you're absolutely starving and you walk into a restaurant, you don't spend 20 minutes reading reviews of every dish on the menu. You don't debate whether the chef's special aligns with your personal brand. You order something, right? Anything that will get you filled up now. You can come back for the gourmet experience later. This is called the restaurant menu strategy, and here's exactly how you do it. Open LinkedIn right now. Go to jobs, but here's the critical part. You're going to filter for positions posted in the last 24 to 48 hours only. Why? Because companies that posted 2 days ago haven't been flooded with 500 applications yet. You're getting in early. Now, here's where you need to swallow your pride. Look for roles that are 1 or even 2 levels below where you are right now. If you've been applying for senior marketing manager positions at $100,000, start looking at marketing coordinator roles at $65,000. If you're a software engineer with 5 years of experience, look at junior developer positions. Now, I know what you're thinking. Mary, I'm worth much more than that. I have a master's degree, I have certifications. I hear you, but here's what matters in the next 24 hours. You need someone to say yes to you fast. And when you apply for a role where you exceed 100% of their requirements, you become the obvious choice. Think about it from the hiring manager's perspective. They post a job for someone with 2 to 3 years of experience. Then your resume comes in with 7 years, exactly the skills they need, and you're available to start Monday. That's not a decision that they need to think about. That's a gift. You're not going to stay in this job forever, but this job can pay your bills while you figure out your next move from a position of stability instead of desperation. Sometimes the lower level job at a better company opens more doors than the impressive job at a company nobody's heard of. So right now, I want you to shift your filter. Stop applying for jobs that are a reach. Start applying for jobs that are a slam dunk. You need a win, and you need it fast. All right, here's strategy number 2, and this one makes people uncomfortable, but it's also the one that works the fastest. You know when you're a kid and you want to get invited to someone's birthday party? You don't send a formal written request through the school office. You just talk to them. You walk up to them at recess and you say, Hey, are you having a birthday party? Can I come? That's exactly what you're doing here, except the birthday party is a job. When you apply through a company's online portal, your resume goes into a black hole with 300 other resumes. Someone in HR eventually sorts through them, maybe, if they have time. If the system doesn't glitch, if your resume has the right keywords, you're waiting in line with everyone else. But here's what most people don't realize. You can skip that line entirely. Open LinkedIn, find the job that you want to apply for. Now, don't click Easy Apply. Instead, look at the company page. Find out who the hiring manager is. Usually it's someone with a title like Director of Marketing or Head of Sales or Engineering Manager. Not the CEO, not the recruiter, the person who will actually be your boss. Now, here's where you need to be really brave. Send them a direct message. But, and this is a crucial but, you're not sending some generic, I'd love to work for your company message that they get 50 times a day. You're sending something like this. Hey, Sarah, I saw you're the hiring manager for the marketing coordinator position. I can start immediately, and I actually just solved a similar challenge at my last company. We increased email open rates by 40% in 3 months using a segmentation strategy I'd love to tell you about. Are you free for a 15-minute call this week? Or even better, send a voice note. Send a short video message. You know why? Because everyone else is sending text. Your voice immediately makes you a real human being instead of just another resume. Now, I know what some of you are probably thinking, but that's too forward. That's going to annoy them. Listen, hiring managers are desperate to find good people. If you're genuinely qualified and you're making their job easier by reaching out directly, most of them will be thrilled. The ones who aren't, they weren't going to hire you anyway. And here's the thing about this approach. Even if they don't have a job open right now, you've made a connection. They may even know somebody who's hiring. They might have something opening up next week. But if you just submitted your resume through the portal, they'll never even see your name. I had a client do this last year. She was 3 months behind on rent. She found 15 hiring managers on LinkedIn for roles she wanted. She sent personalized video messages to every single one of them in one afternoon. 3 responded within hours. She had 2 phone screens the next day. She was employed within 4 days. This isn't spam. It's not being pushy. This is being smart and strategic. You're going where the decision makers are instead of waiting in line, hoping someone eventually notices you. The worst they can say is no. But in 24 hours, you need to be hearing yes from someone. And you dramatically increase those odds by having actual conversations with actual humans instead of feeding your resume into a robot every single time. Okay, here's something you probably haven't even thought about. You know how the day after Thanksgiving, there's always that frantic energy where everyone's trying to figure out what to do with all of the leftover turkey? There's this urgency because time is running out and things need to get handled now. That's exactly what's happening at companies when someone quits unexpectedly. And you can use that to your advantage. Here's the thing. Most companies don't post jobs because they're excited to expand their team and carefully consider the perfect candidate. They post jobs because someone left and now they're panicked. There's work piling up. There's a gap in the team. Someone's manager is freaking out because projects are stalling. When a company is in that mode, their entire hiring process changes. They can't afford to wait 6 weeks for the perfect candidate. They need someone competent who can start immediately. That's your opening. So here's what you can do. Go to Indeed, LinkedIn, anywhere jobs are posted. But here's your job search term. Type in your role plus immediate hire or immediate start or urgent. Then filter by jobs posted in the last 3 days. That's it. Why 3 days? Because that's when the panic is highest. That's when the hiring manager is going to their boss saying, we need to fill this position yesterday. That's when they're willing to skip steps in their process. I'm talking about companies that will interview you the same day you apply. Companies that will make you an offer after 1 conversation instead of 5. Companies that might even negotiate start date before they negotiate salary because they're so desperate to fill the gap. Now, when you apply to these urgent postings, you need to make one thing crystal clear in your application. You can start immediately. Not 2 weeks, not I need to give notice. You're ready to walk in Monday morning. You could even put it right at the top of your cover letter. I'm available to start immediately and can be in the office Monday. Put it in your LinkedIn message. Make it the first thing you say in your phone screen. Why? Because every other candidate is saying, I need 2 weeks to transition out of my current job. You're the only person saying, I'm ready now. When someone's desperate, being available is sometimes worth more than being perfect. And look, I know some of you are employed right now and you're thinking, but I need to give notice professionally. I respect that. But if you're in a situation where you're desperately in need of a different job within 24 hours, like your current situation is awful, then you might need to make some tough choices about what matters more. The companies posting urgent roles are essentially holding up a sign saying, we're willing to compromise on our process if you can solve our problem fast. That's the sign you're looking for. That's where your odds of getting hired in 24 hours are the very highest. All right, this next one is going to feel awkward at first, but it's probably the highest success rate strategy I'm going to give you. You know how there are certain coffee shops where the barista knows your order? You walk in and they're already making your usual. That's not because you applied to be a regular customer. It's because you showed up consistently and became a known person. That's what you're about to do with your network. Except instead of coffee, we're talking about jobs here. Here's a stat that's going to absolutely blow your mind. About 70% of jobs are filled through referrals. That means the majority of jobs you see posted online, they already have an internal candidate in mind. Someone already referred their friend. You're applying to a job that's basically already filled. But here's the thing, you have a network too. You're just not using it right. So here's what you're going to do today. Open your phone, scroll through your contacts, not just the people you talk to regularly, but everyone. That person you met at a wedding 3 years ago, your friend from college who you haven't talked to since graduation, the parent from your kid's soccer team, your former coworker from 2 jobs ago, that guy you used to grab lunch with at your last company. Now you're going to text them. And here's the exact message. Hey, random question. Is your company hiring for a marketing manager role? I'm available immediately and would love to grab coffee this week to hear about it. That's it. You're not asking them to get you a job. You're not asking them to vouch for you. You're literally just asking if their company is hiring and if you can learn more. Why does this work so well? For 2 reasons. First, most people want to help their friends get jobs. It makes them look good at work when they refer someone really great. Some companies even give referral bonuses. You're actually doing them a favor by giving them someone to refer. Second, when you apply as a referral instead of a cold applicant, your resume doesn't go into the black hole. It goes directly to the hiring manager with a note that says, Sarah from marketing knows this person. Instant credibility. Instant human connection. You're not just a resume anymore, you're Sarah's friend. Now, I know what some of you are probably thinking at this point, but I don't want to bother other people. I don't want to be that desperate person asking for handouts. Just stop it, okay? Stop it right now. This is not bothering people. This is giving them an opportunity to help someone that they know. Most people feel really good when they can help someone. You're robbing them of that opportunity if you don't even ask. And here's the reality. If you send this text to 20 people and 19 of them say, sorry, we're not hiring, you know what you've lost? Absolutely nothing. But if one person says, actually, yeah, we just posted a role, that's your job. That's your 24-hour miracle. I had a client who actually tried this last month. She was in between jobs, bills were piling up, feeling completely alone. She went through her phone and she texted 30 people this exact message. 30 people! And you know what happened? 23 didn't respond, or they said no. 4 said, well, not right now, but let me keep you in mind. 3 said, yeah, actually, let's talk. She had coffee with all 3 of those people. One of them introduced her to their hiring manager that very same week. She had an interview 2 days later. She was employed within a week. But here's the key. She wouldn't have had any of those conversations if she hadn't asked. If she'd sat at home feeling depressed about reaching out. Your network is the most powerful job search tool you have. And most people never actually use it. They apply to jobs online. They wait for recruiters to find them. They hope someone will magically remember that they're looking for work. No, you go to them directly. You make it easy for them to help you, and you do it today. So pause this video if you need to. Go through your phone right now. Find 10 people who work at companies you'd be willing to work for. Send them that text, and then come back and we'll keep going. This is the strategy that's gonna get you hired faster than anything else on this list, I promise. Okay, you know when you're at Costco and they're giving out those delicious free samples? You try a little piece of cheese, and if you like it, you buy the whole block. That's what we're doing here, except you're the cheese. Here's the deal. Employers are risk averse. Even when they need someone desperately, they're terrified of making a bad hire because a bad hire costs them money, time, and team morale. So there's always this hesitation, this what if they're not actually as good as they seem type of fear. You're gonna remove that fear completely by offering something almost no other candidate offers. It's a trial. And here's how this works. When you're applying for jobs or reaching out to hiring managers directly, you include this line. I'd love to come in for a paid trial day this week to show you exactly what I can do. You can see me in action before making any commitments. Or if it's a project-based role, I'd be happy to complete a small paid project this week so you can see my work quality before we discuss full-time positions. The key word here, you guys, is paid. You're not working for free. You're proposing a short-term, low-risk way for them to evaluate you. Why does this work? Because you've eliminated every single excuse they have not to talk to you. We're not sure if you can do the job. Well, let me show you. We need to interview more candidates. Why wait? See what I can do today. Well, we're concerned about the culture fit. Spend a day with me and find out. You've turned the entire dynamic from convince me you're worth hiring to let me prove it to you with zero risk on your end. And now, here's the thing. Even if they say no to the trial idea, you've differentiated yourself from every other applicant. You've shown confidence. You've shown you're willing to put your money where your mouth is. That sticks in people's minds. But a lot of times, they say yes, especially at smaller companies, startups, agencies, places that are more flexible with their hiring processes. They think, sure, why not? We can see if this person is actually any good. And then you come in, you absolutely crush it for a day, and suddenly you're not a risky unknown candidate. You're the person they've already worked with. You're already part of the team in their mind. I've seen this work dozens of times, especially for roles like marketing, design, writing, analysis, anything where you can show tangible output quickly. You come in, you complete a real project they need, and by the end of the day, they're already asking when you can start full-time. Even in fields where a trial period or a trial day isn't practical, like healthcare or education, you can modify this. Offer to do a shadow day. Offer to attend a team meeting as an observer. Offer to review some of their current work and provide feedback. The point is, you're giving them a way to see you in action instead of just imagining what you might be like based on a resume and a 30-minute conversation. This strategy doesn't work for every job, but when it does work, it works fast. Because once they see you doing the job, the hiring decision becomes obvious. Okay, this next strategy is all about volume and momentum. Because here's the truth. If you need a job in 24 hours, you're playing a numbers game. And most people are playing that game completely wrong. Think about when you decide to binge watch a show on Netflix. You don't watch one episode and then turn off the TV and come back 3 days later. You get snacks, right? You get comfortable and you watch 7 episodes in a row. You commit to the binge. That's exactly how you need to approach job applications today. Here's what most people do. They find a job posting. They spend 2 hours perfecting their resume and cover letter for that one job. They submit it. They feel really accomplished, and they move on with their day. Maybe they apply to 1 or 2 more jobs that week if they're feeling super motivated. That's not going to get you hired in 24 hours. Here's what you're going to do instead. You're going to block out 3 one-hour chunks of time today. Morning, afternoon, evening. These 3 separate binge sessions. During each session, you're going to apply to 15 to 20 jobs. That's 45 to 60 applications in one day. And I can hear it already. Mary, there's absolutely no way I can customize my resume and write a thoughtful cover letter for 60 jobs in one day. You're right. You can't, and you're not going to try. Instead, you're going to have a template cover letter and a template and a master resume that you will customize minimally for each job. I'm talking about changing the headline, changing the summary, changing the highlights, and pulling in keywords directly from your target job description. That's it. 3 to 5 minutes per application maximum. Here's why this works. In a normal job search, quality matters more than quantity because you have time to be strategic. But right now, you need somebody to say yes to you. You need to get into as many conversations as possible because you don't know which one is going to be the yes. It's like fishing, right? If you have one fishing line in the water, you might catch a fish eventually. But if you have 60 lines in the water, your odds just went up exponentially. Set a timer for 3 hours. Open 20 job posting tabs before you start. Have your resume ready to upload. Have that template cover letter open in another document where you can quickly edit it. Then you just go. Apply, apply, apply. Don't overthink it. Don't spend 20 minutes wondering if you're the perfect fit. If you meet 60% of the requirements, apply. If the job was posted in the last week, apply. If it says urgent or immediate, definitely apply. You're not trying to make each and every application perfect. You're trying to get your name in front of as many hiring managers as possible in the shortest amount of time. And here's what happens with this approach. You build momentum. After you apply to your first 5 jobs, you get just a little bit faster. You get more confident. You stop second guessing yourself. It becomes a game of how fast can I get through this list? Plus, there's a psychological benefit. When you apply to one job and then you just wait, you start obsessing over that one job. Did they see my application? Why haven't they responded? Should I follow up? But when you apply to 60 jobs in one day, you can't obsess over any single one. You're just moving forward, creating opportunities, playing the numbers game the way it's meant to be played. Now, you might be thinking, this sounds impersonal or desperate. And yeah, it kind of is. But you know what? You said you desperately needed a job in 24 hours. This is what desperate looks like. And desperate works when you need speed. I've had clients land interviews from their 47th application of the day. If they'd stopped at 10 because they got tired or felt like they were lowering their standards, they would have missed out on that opportunity completely. So today, you're not a perfectionist. You're not a strategist carefully selecting the 5 ideal roles. You're a machine. You're casting the widest net possible and seeing what you catch. 3 sessions, 15 to 20 applications per session. No overthinking. Let's go. All right, last strategy. This one might be the most uncomfortable of all, but it's also the one that can work the absolute fastest. You know that feeling when you're going through old texts and you see someone you used to date or you used to be friends with and you think about reaching out, but it feels weird because it's been so long, and then you talk yourself out of it. That's exactly what you're about to do today, except with your professional contacts. And you're not going to talk yourself out of it. Here's the thing. There are people in your professional past who already know what you can do. They've already vetted you. They've already decided they like working with you or they've wanted to hire you. I'm talking about former employers who left on good terms, recruiters who reached out to you in the past, even if you said no, companies that interviewed you but hired someone else, managers from jobs you had years ago, colleagues from past companies who have since moved to other places. These people already know you're competent. The hard part, convincing someone you're worth talking to, it's already done. So here's what you do. Go through your email. Search for messages from recruiters. Search for old job offers. Search for companies you interviewed with. Make a list of every single person who has ever expressed professional interest in you. And then you send them a message. Email, LinkedIn, text, if you have their number. And here's what you say. Hey, Jim Bob, I know it's been a while since we last talked. I'm currently looking for immediate opportunities in the software engineering field. And I remembered our conversation back in July. Are you still at Meta? Any chance you're hiring or know someone who is? That's it. Simple, direct, no shame in it. Why does this work so well? Because hiring is exhausting. Finding good people is really hard. So when someone they already know is competent reaches back out and says, "Hey, I'm available," that's actually a gift to them. That recruiter who contacted you 8 months ago about a role you turned down, they're still looking for people like you. That's their job. They will be thrilled to hear from you. That company that interviewed you but hired someone else, maybe that person didn't work out. Maybe they have another opening. Maybe they felt really bad about not hiring you and would love a chance to bring you back. Your former boss who absolutely loved your work, they might have moved to a different company. They might be building a new team. They might jump at the chance to work with you again. I had a client who did this just last year. She'd been laid off and was absolutely panicking. She went through her LinkedIn messages and found a recruiter who'd contacted her about 2 years earlier about a job that she didn't end up taking. So she messaged him, "Hey, I know it's been forever, but I'm now open to relocating and looking for immediate opportunities. Are you still placing candidates in the software engineering field?" He responded within an hour. He had 3 positions that she was an absolute perfect fit for. She was interviewing the very next day. She had an offer on the table by the end of the week. Would that have happened if she hadn't have reached out? No, he'd completely forgotten about her. But the second she reminded him that she existed, his brain went, "Yeah, she was great. Let me see what I have." This isn't burning bridges or being opportunistic. This is being smart. You're reaching back out to people who already decided they liked you once. You're making their job easier by being a known quantity. So go through old emails. Find those recruiters. Find those former colleagues. Text your old boss. Be willing to feel a little awkward for 5 minutes if it means you might have a job by tomorrow. The worst they can say is, "Sorry, nothing right now." The best they can say is, "Actually, yeah, let's talk today." And that's all you need. One person who says, "Let's talk today," and you're in the game. Okay, let's bring this home. If you need a job in 24 hours, here's your game plan. Apply to jobs you're overqualified for. Get that quick win. Message hiring managers directly instead of applying through portals. Skip the line completely. Target companies with urgent postings. They're desperate too. Text everyone in your phone who might know about opportunities. Your network is gold. Offer a paid trial or project. Remove all their risk. Binge apply. 15 to 20 jobs per session. 3 sessions today. And reach out to everyone from your professional past who already knows you're good. These strategies aren't comfortable. They're not what most career coaches usually tell you what to do. But comfortable doesn't get you paid by tomorrow. Comfortable doesn't solve your immediate problems. And here's the truth. The traditional job search advice assumes that you have the luxury of time. You don't. So you need to be willing to do things that other people won't do. You need to be more direct, more persistent, more creative. You need to play a different game. And look, some of you are watching this thinking, "I don't need a job in 24 hours. That's great, but bookmark this video. Save these strategies because you never know when you or someone you care about is going to need this exact playbook. If this helped you, if you're actually going to use these strategies today, let me know in the comments. I really want to hear your results. I want to know which strategy worked for you. And if you landed a job from this video, you better come back and tell me. Be sure to subscribe to my channel. I'm Mary Southern, founder of Resume Assassin, and I'm here to get you hired, whether you have 3 months or 24 hours. Now stop watching YouTube and go apply to some jobs. Your next paycheck is waiting.